but if you got some, slap them on.
Let's do this.
Bam.
If we're going to do this, we're going to do it properly.
Everybody, it's your boy the Lo-Fi Horror Guy, and welcome to another episode of the Lo-Fi Horror Guys Growing on You Live. Today, I'm going to be having the director of all new movie, making tons of pulses throughout the film community, my man Ryan Kruger. He has just recently made a movie called Friedberry. We're going to dig into that and much, much more here on Growing on You Live. Ryan!
Hey man, how's it going?
What's going on?
I was struggling there for a second.
Yeah.
Good man, good.
Everything well your way?
Yeah, it's actually cold here. It's like really cold. It's winter in Cape Town in South Africa at the moment, so it's pretty cold.
Okay. Yeah, it's chilling down a little bit over here too. I know. I saw your recent interview with Jason, and you were mentioning that too. That's kind of weird. That's not what I expected out of South Africa there.
Yeah. I think most people think, it's just hot all year round, and it is quite warm all year round. But here and there, every now and then, we get like a really cold winter, and this year has been cold.
That's it. Okay.
So,
okay. Well, first of all, thank you for being on, man. I appreciate it. If you've never seen the show before, basically we have a couple of icebreaker questions. The rest of the interview is, based on your body of work and yourself, and then I have one finale question that I wrote just for you, my man.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Thank you very much for having me, man. Much appreciated.
Not a problem. I've been looking forward to this, man. I actually just
I feel like I need my shades.
It kind of became my thing. I don't know why, but if you got some, slap them on.
Let's do this.
Bam.
If we're going to do this, we're going to do it properly.
Beautiful. I love it. Fantasia Fest actually just got a hold of me yesterday, and I felt like a dummy. I guess it's like geo-locked just to Canada. So that's why I haven't been able to watch it. Yeah, so they just got back to me yesterday, and I'm like, oh, damn it. Okay, so I'm going to have to catch something that, it's really cool that they're doing the whole online platform right now for, different festivals as far as with everything going on.
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know what, it's actually better in a way that more people actually get to see your movie than a normal 250 to 300 cinema room. So it's actually kind of good. More people are getting to watch your movie, and then at the end of the day, we make movies for people to see,
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So first and foremost, hitting on that topic, let me ask you, if you and I were making a horror movie, right? And I said, Ryan, I need you to come up with the villain for our horror movie. If it's going to be a werewolf, a giant centipede, a vampire movie, what kind of villain are you going to put in our horror movie, my man? Right here and right now. Maybe don't spoil one of your movies either.
That's a hard question, man. And it could be anybody. It could be anybody. Let's make it a homeless guy. Let's make it a hobo.
Okay. All right. Terrorizing the streets. All right.
I don't know.
Have you seen Hobo with a Shotgun?
I have. I think I only watched half of it, but yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, that kind of hits on that for sure. So my wife and I do some traveling, and knowing that you're from Cape Town, I wanted to ask if her and I came over and we asked you for like a local food staple or a restaurant that you said, man, you guys have to hit before you leave. What would that be? Yeah, there's a sushi place. It's the only place where I eat sushi. It's called Obi, and the Japanese chef, the Papa-san. He's known for back in the day for being in all these Douglas Green, whiskey or brandy? I think it's whiskey. Commercial.
but he is he has the best like sushi. And I didn't eat sushi for like such a long time, and then one of my ex-girlfriends was like, oh, you gotta eat it. And I've never been a big fan of seafood, and then I tried it there and it was amazing, and then every other place that I went to was shit, so I only go to that one place. I literally only go to that one place. Sweet.
Okay.
So
that rules. Awesome.
Yeah.
Now,
maybe watch Friedberry first, and then decide if you want to come to Cape Town. Because we made Friedberry. Like Cape Town's beautiful; it's a beautiful place. But in Friedberry, it's not a beautiful place, and we've made it look very different, and we've made it look. We've gone for the dark side of Cape Town. So I think we're going to ruin the tourism. For people coming over.
That'd be kind of funny if they started putting that on like tourism ads, like Cape Town, come check this out, and they show like half of your movie, and people are like, nah, hell no.
Yeah. It's like people just jacking up.
Oh my God. All right. So, and another thing I wanted to hit on too, as far as with Cape Town. So you're primarily known, before this and kind of the buzz that's generated for doing music videos. Are you aware of the band D'Antwoord?
D'Antwoord, yeah.
Okay, D'Antwoord, sorry. I was going to say, because I know, over there you're kind of into the whole music video thing and everything. Have you ever been approached to do anything with them? They're from Cape Town, right?
Yeah. Well, every now and then, I used to see them often here and there in town. Years ago, I spoke to a Ninja for a music video, but it was like back in the day. It was before D'Antwoord, and it was for Max Normal. Never. Yeah. They just was one of those bands that just like hit it off. It was just that one hit wonder that just blew up straight away. But I think there's a lot of people in South Africa that don't like D'Antwoord, and there's a lot of people that do. So I think it's like a mixed crowd. I know so many people that don't like them, and I know a lot of people that do like them as well.
Yeah. It was just funny, kind of doing the research about you, and then you'd mentioned, Cape Town, and I'm like, oh my God. And then, you do music videos too. I was like, damn, that's, that's kind of an interesting thing. That's been a band that I've listened to for quite a while. And that's a wild one too.
Basically, as soon as they hit it off, they like went overseas like straight away. And then they do come back here often, but as soon as they hit it off, actually, you know what? It would be quite interesting if D'Antwoord saw Friedberry. I think they would actually probably like the film.
I love it. Yeah, for sure. All right, so now I wanted to dig into your horror origin, but more specifically because you have different interviews and you've kind of talked about that too. One of the bigger things I wanted to hit on with that was how you've mentioned shooting the kind of Super 8 style movies when you were younger with your friends and such. I wanted to dig into that a little bit, but just your start with horror, as far as like maybe the first movie that you saw, those things.
First horror movie that I could remember that I watched? I don't know, man. I mean, I'm an 80s kid, so it was all, it would be like films like Poltergeist.
Okay.
And then it's just, I think Poltergeist, all the like early 80s horror, and then some of the, the video nasties, like 70s, horror and stuff like that. But I'm an 80s kid, so all my like horror, my favorite stuff came in like, in the 80s, whether it's like Lost Boys or like The Fly, or as I said, like Poltergeist or The Gate, or The Shining, stuff like that. Yeah.
Sweet. Okay. So now, hitting on the whole aspect as far as, you making like movies with your friends and stuff. If you had one of those movies that you made when you were younger that you could make nowadays with the tools and the knowledge that you have, what movie would you make and what would it be about?
I don't think it would be any of them, to be honest.
Okay.
All my, I must have made, I don't know, I must have made like 200, if not more, like short films with me and my friends. So it was like every weekend or every like summer we would go out and we would make a film. But they were all, at that age, and that's why I said it was, it's like Super 8. So at that age we were just making all this random content, and it was always funny because we were always we always had like an American accent, and we're always like fighting to. It was either like horror or like martial arts, and it was or
Sweet.
there's a killer in the house or whatever, and it would be that. So they were all really fucking bad, but every one of them had something like, you know, just something in there that was what was cool. And then, you know, as time goes on, you take all those little good bits and, you know, from learning, and then you make another film and it gets better and better and so on. But yeah, it would be like a summer thing with my friends, or like a weekend. I would, you know, go to my mum's place or be at my dad's place, and then a friend would come around and we would shoot, you know, all Saturday, you know, Saturday afternoon or Saturday night going into Sunday, and then wrap it up. And then it was always one of those things where your mum or your dad's going, quiet, it's bedtime. And you're just like, I've got one more shot left to do. So it was always that. For some reason, my mum used to, I always remember my mum saying, it's 1 o'clock. It was always 1 o'clock for some reason.
Even
so
when it wasn't.
That happened like quite often. Even when it wasn't, it was always like 1 o'clock for some reason. Like, it's 1 o'clock.
So. That was funny. Pipe down. Keep it down, would you?
Yeah.
All right. So.
And then I would shout at my mum and say, "Oh, well, we have to do it again now because you were talking in the background. So we got to do it again now."
I have so been there. Oh my God. You know, in my youth, that was what me and my friends, you know, pretty much kept us out of trouble, was just making movies and, you know, going out running amok, just making asses out of ourselves. But there's been so many times that I can relate to that, as far as going and, you know, shooting something and somebody's in the background or somebody's yelling. It's like, oh, well, thanks. You know, now you ruined the shot. You know, it wasn't good to begin with, you know? All right. So in your time of, you know, your interest of horror and sci-fi, if you could say 3 scenes out of, you know, either that were forever ingrained in your brain after first watching them, what would they be? You know, may they be just practical effects that really messed with your head, anything like that?
Well, if I look at like Aliens, I mean, that film now, I can't remember what year it is now, Aliens 80 something, but Aliens was just amazing. You know, it was all prosthetics and puppetry and all that, and it's fucking brilliant. And even now, they still can't come close to that. You know what I mean? And it was, you know, all the aliens weren't visual effects. It was all, and that's the great thing about it. It was all like in camera, you know. And I think that was just amazing. And I think that always stuck with me. Or, you know, if you look at like Terminator, where it's the animatronics when he's trying to get the, you know, the eyeball out, you know, in the mirror.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think stuff like that. Or it's like the stop. And I mean, I mentioned the gate before, but a lot of the visual effects, or like the stop animation, and that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Okay. You know, and there's typically too, you know, I mean, those are really, really great choices. And I like asking those people that because, you know, everybody kind of has those specific things early on, you know, in watching movies where you see something, you're just like, oh my God, and, you know, can't ever forget it. And it just kind of sticks with you. So are those, you know,
well, it was like,
you kind of,
it was like E.T. as well. When I saw E.T. as a kid, you know what I mean? There was no visual effects there with E.T. It was just, you know what I mean? It was just all animatronics and people controlling, you know, his expressions and everything. And that was like amazing. You know, when you look at that, it's just like, we don't do it enough anymore. And I think that's where we've lost a lot of stuff in movies today. I mean, movies are like 95% visual effects, and there should be that balance. I mean, and you know, if you look at movies like Total Recall, I mean, there's so many cool effects in like Total Recall and stuff like that. It's amazing. And I think we've just lost a lot of stuff in films where we just don't do it enough, and it's amazing. It just gives it that, like, even the Terminator, like, you can tell it's like animatronics and he's looking in the mirror, but it brings that like creepiness to it. And that's what's really cool about it. And and it looks real, as in it's in camera, it's real. And I always compare stuff to, like, you know, like if you watch like The Mummy. So when The Mummy came out, and, you know, there's that shot, he has his arms out and he shouts and his jaw comes down, and it doesn't look real. And then when it's not real, then what is it? And you know what I mean? Like, rather just do like animatronics or puppetry or whatever, because it's just, you know what I mean? When it doesn't look real, then it's just like, well, it takes you out of the movie, I think.
Sure. What practical effects were used for Friedberry?
You know what? I think with practical effects in Friedberry, there was a lot of stuff. I mean, when Barry gets abducted by aliens, we could have easily just done that green screen, and I was like, no, we got to get a crane. So we got all the wire rigs and everything to lift him up in this crane, so it looks like he's going up into the spaceship, and that was all in camera. And I was like, no, we got to do it, you know, all in camera. It's got to look like it's there. But there was a lot. Yeah, there was a lot of. There wasn't actually that much visual. I think some people have watched it, and I think some people have said, you know, there's quite a bit of visual effects, and there actually isn't. There actually isn't a lot of visual effects in there. I mean, there's the spaceship, which was based on Close Encounters spaceship with all the blue lights and stuff like that. And then there's like a jaw stretch and a neck stretch. And I think, yeah, I mean, I can't even think what other visual effects scenes. And so a lot of the practical effects, even, I don't want to give too much away, but, you know, we had a prosthetic stomach, and this woman, you know, the sex worker's stomach, just like she gets impregnated, and her stomach's like growing and growing. So we had like three or four sets of prosthetic stomachs that we just built on as we went.
Oh, damn. Okay. All right. What about the scenes, you know, where it does the close up on Barry, and, you know, his like forehead is moving, and, you know, kind of his face is expanding and bubbling out. How you pull that off?
Yeah, so that was for the shorts. That was for the 3-minute experimental short. So that was just like warping. Like in the feature, we did that with the jaw. So we just in visual effects, we just like stretch out the image, and and it's like not too much. It's a bit more subtle in the feature than the short, but yeah, we just stretch out the image. We're still unrealistic, but kind of realistic to an extent where it moves out, you know.
Sure. Okay. Now, if I can ask, you know, as far as, so now the movie has come out, you know, it's had its successes. People have been, you know, just really talking about it and just, you know, blowing it up. Everybody, you know, through the film festivals and everything. You know, prior to working on Friedberry, you had, you know, a little bit of rough spot in life as far as, you know, just some things coming up, and, you know, just kind of negative thing after negative thing. And, you know, Friedberry was kind of a boost for you and Gary in both, you know, in many ways. So, you know, so it seems, as far as, you know, kind of in my research and listening to your stories with stuff. And I wanted to highlight on the optimism in all of this, and how, you know, both of you guys kind of overcame personal struggles and created something that in lots of regards was quite successful. So, you know, I guess my question being, you know, what did you learn about yourself in this process of, you know, going through a hard time and pushing through all of this stuff, you know, and not just giving in, and having a physical product come out that's had such a positive outcome?
Yeah, well, I think it's a long question. I think like where I was at the time with all the shit that I went through, and like as I mentioned in the other interviews, I got sepsis, went through a breakup, my cat got cancer, I went through depression, and I think going through all that, and this is obviously before the film, going through all that, you do learn a lot about yourself, and you're also there's also another side of you while you're going through all that, and sometimes you do stupid things and you say stupid things or whatever, and it's you know, I think you just learn a lot. You learn a lot about you know, about yourself, and sometimes, you know, I think it's one of those things as well where, you know, it's good to put your cards on the table and go, this is me.
Right.
And admit to certain things that you've done and stuff like that. And I think it's, you know, it's a healthy thing just to, you know, to look at it from a whole now, and look at it and just be like, shit, that was horrible. It was a horrible time. But when I made the film, or just before I made the film, as I said before, I just needed that. I needed that one thing. I needed that one thing to get me out of it. And it's like when I got depressed, And I've never been depressed, and touch wood, I'll fucking never want to get fucking depressed again. And it's one of those things where I'm a very outgoing, positive person. So it's like, you never think that it's going to happen to you, you know? And then when it does happen to you, you're just like, oh shit. And the thing is, I'm the guy that normally people come to advice, and I'm the person that gives advice. So when I got depressed, I didn't know anybody like me. And that's when I knew I was like really fucked. I didn't know anybody like me to like get me out. So I just went down this hole deeper and deeper and deeper. And I said, you know, what is the number one thing I always wanted to do? And it was to make a film. So I knew, for me, I mean, there's many people, you know, many people get depressed, and they, you know, for me, I didn't want to take medication. I didn't want to go speak to somebody about it. And some people will shout at me and say, oh, you should have, and you should do this and you should do that. But I think there's one thing, you know, everybody handles depression in different ways. So the thing is, if, you know, there's many people that go through all that and they don't know what's wrong and they don't know how to get out of it. So every case is different. And for me, I knew what would get me out of it. And some people don't know that answer. So luckily I knew, like, if I do this, it's going to help me, and I know it's going to get me out. Because one, I didn't want to take medication, and two, I didn't want to go speak to somebody. And for me, it's one of those things, like, it's like psychology. Like, I'm big on psychology, and that's because of my acting and my directing. So I'm like, what the fuck is this person going to tell me that I don't know already, and try and put everything into perspective for me. So it's just, so for me, it was just like, I know what I need to do, and that's what I got to do. And when I got the idea for the film and everything, I was just, and I spoke to my producer. I was like, dude, we need to shoot it next month. And it, you know, it came around so fast because it was literally, I need to shoot next month. And we started shooting next month. And if I didn't do that, fuck, dude, I don't even know what I was like. I was on my way out. So for me to you know, and that's why I needed to shoot it soon, because I was like, I need to do it now before it's too late. So that was the thing. So it came around really quick and fast, and it's what I needed right there and then, you know, at the time. And Friedberry, like, saved my life in so many ways. And as well as I gained a best friend, James C. Williamson, my producer, yeah. And it's what I needed at the time, and that's it. And the process of the movie took 1.5 years to shoot, and then half a year for post. So it was one of those things where that was my medicine throughout that whole 1.5 years of shooting and being like locked into this thing and to do something. Because I mean, a lot of people get depressed and they just, you're your own worst enemy. You sit there and you feel sorry for yourself, and you're just like, nah, and you repeat yourself. You're like this broken record. And I remember my ex-girlfriend, one of my ex-girlfriends, very, very good friend, still today, she said to me, when you're depressed, nobody wants to hang around with you. And I was like, well, that's a fucking horrible thing to say, but it's so true. It's like when people are depressed, we're just like a broken record, and you're just going, oh, this and this and this, and you're just repeating yourselves. And it's so true, but you can't help it, because you're just in this record going round, and you're moaning about the same thing. So the only person that can really help you, if you're not going to go speak to somebody or take medication, is you gotta get up. You know, it's exactly the same with your, you know, with somebody wanting to do filmmaking or acting or whatever. Like, if you sit there, nothing's gonna happen. Like, it's up to you to go out there and to get it. Like, the world owes you fucking nothing. Like, you got to go out there and you got to do it yourself. And that's the thing. And that's what I did. I just like fucking pulled my socks up, and I was like, right, fuck, I've just got to do this. And when I had the idea and I knew what I was gonna do, I was like so excited, because it just came to me, the idea, and I was like, this is it. It feels right. And
sure. Okay.
And I think it was a better film because of the shit that I went through.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you know what I mean? And I put all the shit that I went through, all the bad shit and everything. I used it. I put it all into the film, and it's definitely made it a better film. And sadly, it took me for me to like nearly die to fucking realize, like, what am I doing? why I haven't I done this movie, you know? And it's insane. And I look back on it now, and it's crazy because it's been 4 years, which is, I mean, it's been 4 years. It feels like it's been 2 years for me. You know what I mean? I mean, every year's just gone faster and faster, but it's literally been 4 years, you know, since, you know, I had my operation and got sepsis and all that. So, yeah. So, I mean, the past 2 years has been amazing and really, really good. I mean, I got to make my film. I got to make my dream that I always wanted to do. So for that, I'm very, very, you know, grateful. And I don't regret going through that. Depression wise, I never would have made the film. So it's like I put like thanks to depression at the end of the credits. And my producer's like, dude, why? And I was like, dude, you wouldn't even fucking be here if I'm not thanking depression, because that's where this movie fucking came from. You know, if I didn't have that, then it wouldn't have happened. So I was lucky that I nearly died and it happened to me.
Well, you know, and I ordinarily don't try, you know, to dig into people's personals or, you know, dig into some of that stuff or even, you know, put you in a weird situation asking about that. But I think, you know,
dude, I'm an open book, dude.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm like an open book. I'm one of those people. I don't know you at all, and it's either going to be like an overshare, or I just don't mind. Like, you know, I can tell somebody very close to me about personal shit, or I can tell a stranger personal shit. I don't mind. And then you'll get those other people that can't tell a family member, but they can tell a stranger.
Yeah. Okay, I see that. You know, I guess like my point with it though is just kind of where, you know, the state of the world, you know, currently as far as everybody, you know, just there's a whole lot of pessimism in a lot of manners, you know, and I think it's important for a lot of people to hear, you know, somebody like in the situation that you were in, as opposed to, you know, kind of giving into it and sitting your ass down at home and eating Doritos and drinking beer every day and just kind of giving up, or pushing yourself up, you know, and making yourself getting up and say, what do I need to do to push through this? I think it's a really important thing for a lot of people to hear. And I appreciate when people share these stories, especially, you know, somebody that is, you know, doing really successful shit. So I appreciate that answer. Thank you so much.
Cool, man. Cool.
So with Friedberry, it touches on the whole alien abduction, you know, alien theme of movies. And I had a couple, you know, I collect horror movies and such, and I had a couple of movies that kind of touch on the same theme. And I wanted to ask you about them. I've got 3 here that I'm gonna show you here, and I'm gonna ask you about, you know, maybe the first time you watched it, if you watched it, and what you thought of it. All right.
Okay.
So first off, we're gonna dig into a movie called The Fire in the Sky. You ever see this bad boy?
Yeah. So that was actually one of my references for the abduction scene inside the spaceship. I didn't follow it closely or anything like that, but I'm a big fan of that. It's still the best alien abduction scene in cinema, I think. Definitely, without a doubt.
And it's crazy, you know, I've collected since middle school. I've collected movies, and it wasn't until this year, actually, that I got that movie, and I saw it for the first time. And my wife and I watching that abduction scene, I'm just like, holy shit, like, that's crazy.
Yeah. What year was it? Was it like 1993 or something?
93.
93?
Yep.
93, yeah. So the thing is with that, so when I first watched that movie, it was funny. I watched it. Me and my brother watched it. My brother's 2 years older than me, so I was however old I was back then, and my cousin stayed over. So me and my brother watched it. We thought, like, fucking hell, it's quite scary, that scene. It's so like realistic and everything. Yeah. And again with the puppetry and stuff like that. And then my cousin came around and he stayed at my house that night, and my cousins, my auntie and all that, they were quite like strict about what he would watch. So then I would be like, so my cousin came around, we watched Fire in the Sky, and we're like, oh, let's watch this movie. So we made my little cousin, who was 2 years younger than me, so he was like even more younger. And we made him watch it, and me and my brother, because they found out we made him watch it, and he had like nightmares for like 6 months or some shit. And and me and my brother got grounded and everything for that. We got into so much shit. And then a few years ago, I told my cousin about it, and he goes, I don't remember that. Like, is you lying? I said, I'm not. And I was like, dude, your mom and dad probably took you to therapy or something to like forget it or something because you can't remember. Like, you can't remember it.
Oh
So,
my God.
yeah.
It just like shocked the shit out of him. He couldn't take it anymore. Oh my God. I love it. All right. So next up, we're going even a little bit older here with old Emilio Estevez. We got Repo Man. You ever watch
yeah,
this bad
classic.
boy?
Yeah, great. I actually know the director, so Alex Cox. He was actually originally from Liverpool originally.
Oh, no kidding. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So did you watch that when you were younger? Was that kind of like a later, a hidden gem?
No. I also watched it. Yeah, no, I watched it when I was a kid. I always loved it. I always loved the flying, like the flying car there where it's all glowing green and stuff like that. But yeah, great movie. I think that's his best movie, Alex's Cox best movie, I think.
For sure. Yeah, there's lots of standout stuff in that one. I like that one a lot. And then the last one that I've got here, which is a little bit newer here, we're going Robert Rodriguez, The Faculty.
Yeah. You know what? So many people forget about that movie. So many people forget about that movie. It's one of those that people just forgot about and don't really speak about it. And the first time I watched that, I loved it. I thought it was great. Yeah. And that's what introduced Josh Hartnett to cinema and films and stuff like that. And Elijah Wood, he still fucking looks the same. He hasn't changed one bit.
All these years later. Oh my God. Still looks like a 12-year-old kid.
Yeah, no, exactly. It still looks the same. And but yeah, that was a great movie. That was a great movie. Great. I mean, what did he make after that? I'm trying to remember now. What did he make
he did like Planet Terror. He did man, oh man. He did what
yeah, but he made some of those crappy kids movies.
Yeah, he did some like the
Desperado was
Spy
before.
Kids. Yeah, that was
the Spy
after.
Yeah. So yeah, Spy Kids and all that. I think that just like, but he made those for his kids. I don't think he should have made those. Yeah. I don't think he should have made those. And but yeah, I think it's probably one of his really good. I mean, obviously, From Dusk Till Dawn and Desperado will always be his best. His best stuff. But Faculty was pretty good, and the effects were actually pretty good as well.
Yeah. So now I can hit on too, as far as movies nowadays, and I know you've mentioned too before that you're not a huge fan of, of a lot of newer stuff that's coming out, but have you had a couple of movies that have popped up that have really, like struck you as like, damn, this is sweet. I'd go out and pick up a copy or I'd watch this again.
Fuck.
Other than Friedberry, of course.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm trying to think now what I've watched recently. I mean, actually, you know what? I just watched Tenet today. Okay. I just watched Christopher Nolan's Tenet, and I was like, I fucking love Christopher Nolan, but it's a very I think I've probably got to watch it again. It's one of those where I've got to watch it again. It is good, but I think the characters could have been a little bit. I didn't care too much for the characters, and it's about time travel, which I love, but it was quite complicated to like try and like work out some of it. But I think it's not one of his best films, and I love Christopher Nolan. All his films are amazing. So but I need to give it another chance, and I need to watch it again. But I think it just came out here like a week ago or something.
Oh no shit!
So,
oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've even heard of it, honestly.
Yeah. I think it was because it was meant to come out like a month or two ago, but because of lockdown and stuff like that, and cinemas weren't open, there's just been a delay on it. But I think other than that, I can't think right at the top of my head. I mean, recently I've been so busy, but apart from that, I keep going back to like old movies. Old movies a lot. There's nothing really popping up in my head right now that I've seen recently that is worthy of freaking out about.
Sure.
Yeah, I can't actually think of it.
Let me ask, as far as with how everything's going right now and how your approach has been to with like hitting the festivals and everything, has that kind of reevaluated how you would want to go from here on out if theaters reopen and such? Is that something where you've thought about well, maybe I should go all digital as opposed to trying to push for theater or ratings, and just going unrated with shit? Is that anything different to you?
Yeah. I mean, well, at the moment now, I mean, cinemas are starting to open up now, so things are kind of slowly getting back to normal, which is great.
Yeah.
But again, the digital online film festivals, it's more people are watching your movie, so it's actually better.
Yeah,
I mean,
don't get me wrong. For sure.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I would have loved to go to Fantasia and be there and watch people watch the movie and chat to them. But at the same time, I mean, like, we played in Brazil and we had like just under like 4,000 people watch the movie. So that's a hell of a lot of people. You know what I mean? Instead of 250 to 300 people in a cinema room. Right. So at the end of the day, when you make a film, you want as many people as to watch it. I mean, and for me, it's, you shoot music videos and stuff like that, and it's a 2, 3, 4 minute thing and people watch. And with Friedberry, it's been the most press and eyes on my work that I've ever had. And it's just so good that there's so many people watching it and reaching out and messaging me, and then I do my research and see who's talking about it, and there's just a shitload of people talking about it. So it's awesome for that, for those people to reach out and just overall just talking about it, and I'm just like overlooking what people are saying, and it's amazing. It's so cool.
Sure. I mean, you have to credit some of that too toward the marketing that you guys have put into this. Tell me some about the inspiration behind where some of this shit has come up with, and just how you had the idea of just kind of pushing this character into whole different realms and having fun with it.
Yeah, well, I think with normal, like any, I mean, what the fuck is normal? But I mean, like with any commercial movie, I'm just trying. Let's take one for example. Okay, let's take The Revenant with Leonardo DiCaprio. So for advertising for a movie like that, you can only do so much.
Right.
So yes, you got a trailer, maybe you have a B trailer, maybe you have an A poster and a B poster, and you have the making of, and then they do a press tour talking about it. But what else could they really do for marketing for that? Like marketing ideas for content. There isn't really much that you can do. So with Friedberry, because Friedberry is a film that you can't take too seriously. You can't take seriously. It's just it's a crazy, wacky movie. You'll either like it or you don't like it. But it's because the character is so out there and so crazy that it also means there's no rules because the character is so crazy. So I mean, like when Trainspotting came out, there was all these like little short little teaser stuff for Trainspotting where like Hugh McGregor will be like lying down on the train track and he's busy shouting something. So they had all these little things back in the 90s, and people don't really do it anymore. And that's why I thought, like, fuck, it's an independent movie. Let's go all out with the marketing. Because Friedberry, the character, is so wacky and crazy, we can do anything. So all these little teaser, fake commercials or memes or challenges, we've just done it with this character, and we started it when we started the film. So when we weren't shooting the film, we would shoot all this like marketing stuff and we put it in these memes, and everybody's like, who the fuck is this guy? Or I just saw this guy in this other thing. And we just put it out there more and more. And, we have like the Friedberry condom commercial. We have, there's still like loads of stuff to come out. Some of the stuff, we even got like safe sex with Friedberry, which is really funny. So there's like 3 parts of that. I'm actually quite worried about that because I think some people might get upset with that. And, but it's gonna be funny, and it's that target market. It's that target market. So people, like, if you've seen Friedberry, like, you'll just laugh your head off because it's like they'll know the character. And then the other day we shot, like 2 days ago, I shot a cigarette commercial, a tampon commercial, and I think it was like a Gaviscon, heartburn commercial. So we have all those, and we have all these other videos still going to come out. But it's so random, and it's so funny, and it's just like offbeat. It's just like it's just crazy. But you'll see, like, if you're watching this, go check out the Friedberry condom commercial. I mean, that's
absolutely.
just like, it's meant to be silly. It's meant to be stupid, and
for sure.
But there's lots of other things that we're releasing as time goes on. So it's just keep a lookout for those.
How many takes did the old Kiki challenge take?
Is
that just a one and done?
Yeah, no, I think we shot it like a few times. I'm trying to remember which one. Is that the car one or the other?
Where he gets
the car one. Yeah, I think
dance and shit. And
yeah, I think we did. Yeah, I think we did that like a few times. Yeah, we did it a few times.
Okay.
But yeah, I think we ended up using like one of the like second takes or something that we did. But yeah, and it's just fun, and that's why I'm saying you put all this content out there, and the people that haven't seen the film or want to research this character always comes back, to the whole people Googling Friedberry and seeing what he's about and what it is. So a lot of this stuff is almost like, so obviously, with Friedberry, it's like, he's this drug addict that gets abducted by aliens, and then, this alien's in his body. So all these like memes and stuff and little fake commercials that we've done, it's almost like if Friedberry had to stay on Earth, this is probably some of the shit that he would get up to, and random little thing.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. What was the ungodly recipe for the old bath water? That was.
Oh, it was just pure. It was just pure Friedberry dirt. That's what it was.
Oh my god, that was disgusting.
We'll send you a bottle. We'll send you a bottle in the post.
Yes, that would be an awesome thing too. Are you guys doing any sort of are you coming up with some merch to actually sell through the movie marketing?
Yeah. Well, we're looking at we're looking at the moment now doing a Friedberry figure. So we actually got two figures made up. And we're doing a late 80s, early 90s toy commercial as well. So we're busy. We're gonna shoot that commercial pretty soon, which will be quite fun.
Are you planning on including some of this stuff, if not all of it, into like a Blu-ray release or anything like that?
Yeah. A lot of these little commercials and stuff like that. We will put. Yeah, we will put it on the Blu-ray, DVD, and stuff.
Okay, sweet. Now, let me ask you, because I've listening to different things, I hear an awful lot of people mention that Friedberry, is one of those movies that the general character, when you're first introduced, you just can't stand the bastard. You just hate him, and then you generate throughout the movie, and you watch what he goes through, and by the end of it, you just want to hug the bastard. You want to love him and give him the shirt off of your back. Give me a personal example of yours from a movie where you dive in and you can't stand this guy, and then at the end you're like, oh man, I can't believe he just died, or whatever it does that crushes your heart.
Shit, man. You got really good questions, but they're really hard to answer. Well, I think.
Thanks and sorry.
Yeah. Fuck, dude. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm just trying to think what character did I hate, and then.
If anything,
fuck, dude, I don't know.
Message me back. Message me back with a thought that you got, and I'll I'll add it in a subtext.
And what is yours? What is yours?
There's different ones. The one that comes to mind, first off, I guess I would say is, have you ever seen the remake Alexander Ahaz, The Hills Have Eyes?
Oh yeah.
The husband in that, at the very beginning, he's just this weakly little bastard that you can't stand, and you just want to punch him in the damn face. And then at the end of it, you're like, oh, thank God he came through, something like that. So all right, I do have one more finale question, but this is gonna wrap up our interview, my man. Let everybody know what you got coming on after this.
So at the moment now, we're obviously doing the festival run and with the marketing and stuff now, but I do have a documentary that's coming out. We've got 3 more days to shoot interviews, which I'm going to do towards the end of the year, and it's about a real cult that was in South Africa in the late 80s, early 90s, and so that's really interesting because it's it's part of history and stuff like that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, wow,
and
awesome.
Apart from that, middle of next year, I start my next film, which is time travel movie. So which is going to be cool. So it's certain. I can't really talk too much about it, but it's it's based on time travel, but it's something that I haven't seen before. So I'm very excited to do it, and it's good. It's not going to be as wacky as Friedberry, but it's pretty fucked up and pretty like weird. But it's just a different tone than Friedberry. But it's like really but it's a bit dark.
Okay. I think, too, I think sometimes like people get a little bit nervous out of stepping out of those types of, out of those realms from something that, they previously did. But one thing with the horror and, the kind of likes communities, I think, that it's something that's generally, held on to very closely with fans is, kind of having that feel and stepping outside of, just that one movie, so to speak, and kind of move into a different, kind of subgenre and still having your feel to something different.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, like I like all genres. There's a time and place for everything. Sometimes you just want to sit down and watch an easy, Sunday, watch an easy movie. But yeah, I mean, like a lot of the films and directors and stuff that I like. So I mean, I love horror, but I also like, there's just, like I love John Carpenter. I love David Cronenberg. So I mean, if you mash up like David Lynch and David Cronenberg and John Carpenter, and all those people, I like a mixture of those within a movie,
Yeah, for sure.
So awesome. It has elements, and that's the thing with Friedberry. There's elements of horror, there's elements of sci-fi, there's a shitload of comedy in it, and yeah, it's just a mixture, genre mashup. But the people that love horror and stuff like that, they'll love this type of film because it's just like offbeat and a bit crazy and dark and twisted.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right. I love it. So last up, we got this is the old finale here, and it's a finale question I like to call 5 words. So what we're doing is we're digging into a couple of your shorts, some of your work, if you will, and you got to break it down in 5 words or less. All right. So the first one that we're going to go with is your short, "The Screen Behind the Mirror." Explain that bad boy in 5 words or less. Which is a wild fucking short.
I think it's just a twisted, fucked up family scenario. That's,
There you go. There it is. Is Gary in that?
No, he wasn't in that one.
So
I don't think he was he? No, I don't think he was.
There's a scene where it's almost like a circusy type sound, and there's the door with the light shining through. And the very first person comes through, and I swore, I watched it a couple of times, and there's a second guy that kind of comes through as this gangly white dude, and I'm like, God damn, is that Gary right there? But that was before I worked with him for years. Oh, okay, wow.
Yeah,
all right.
I have worked with Gary for years. Yeah, that wasn't Gary. No.
Okay, all right. So second up, and I'm probably gonna butcher this pronunciation, but is it Uber Freundschaft?
Yeah, Uber Freundschaft. Okay. Yeah, so it's just like fucking hell, you've done your research, eh? These are like old movies I did a long time ago. That was like a student movie. I mean, it was so long ago. I mean, it's just well, in German it's like beyond friendship, more than friendship. Okay. I don't know. Okay. But it was just like a little student movie, but it was a cool. I basically made that because I wanted just to experiment on the war thing and have some effects and throw soil at everybody and shit like that.
Yeah. I mean, the cool thing with that too is seeing a lot of times you dig into anything, in the whole war genre, if you will, and it was kind of interesting just as far as seeing somebody in a sense, turning their back on their own right in the middle of all this shit. And, it was a different take on anything that I'd seen from that. And then just to have it in like a 15-minute, 20-minute short, you know, I was like, wow, that's pretty fucking impressive. That's cool.
Well, actually, it was that scene in Saving Private Ryan, which inspired me. Where, if you remember, there was those two guys that fight each other, and they both, they're both two humans. They're just, they're fighting different sides. He doesn't want to kill him, and the other guy doesn't want to kill him, and it's just this fight, and they're just, it's either you or me. It's either you or me, and the one's going to kill the other one. But they're just like, two young soldiers, and that's what gave me that moment for Überfreundschaft, where it was just like two normal guys. Instead of meeting in a bar, they met on the, on the water.
Fucking war field.
Yeah. And but at the end of the day, it's just like if you were sitting at a bar, he's a guy too, and he's fighting for his country too. So it's just like, you'll probably have way more in common than you think with the enemy.
Right. Wow. Yeah, that hits even deeper than what I initially saw. So yeah, that's awesome. I like hearing about that shit. Next up, we have Priorities, the old Doritos commercial. How did that come out? What the fuck?
That was God. These are like so random. Screen behind the mirror. I'll give you that. These the other two is like so old.
I got to hear about where this shit comes from.
Yeah, so the Doritos one, it was actually a competition. It was I know you want 5 words, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
it was just like a competition for what is it, like the Super Bowl or something like that, and it was a competition to do an ad. So we just came up with all these like random things, and I think we did like 3 or 4 in the end. I can't even remember. It was like this is like 9 years ago, if not more. I don't know. Like,
okay, wow, yeah, that's awesome. Were you pretty steady in shooting at the time too? Was that just something that you were like, hey, I'm gonna try to pitch something for this?
Yeah. Well, I was already like shooting a shitload of music videos and stuff. It was more like, let's do this, try and get some money so we can do other cool shit.
Right.
So it was like make a crap little ad, get the money, and then go make like the cool shit.
Yeah, hell yeah. Okay, sweet. Now, last but not least, we're going to dig into what we've been talking about today. Friedberry. Friedberry in 5 words from the man himself.
5 words. Okay, let's see. So it's got to be twisted.
Twisted.
Fucked up.
Fucked up.
Stranger.
Stranger.
Than you think. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Just fucking watch it. It's fucking weird. It's fucking twisted. It's messed up. You want to take a shower after you watch the movie. If you don't take a shower, give me a message and I'll tell you to take a shower. You should take a shower afterwards.
Okay, dude. This has been awesome. Thank you so much, Ryan. I really appreciate your time, man. All right,
It's
you
a pleasure,
take care.
man.
Stay safe.
You too, man. Thank you so much.